Valorant's patch 1.11 was a disaster, especially since it dropped in the middle of the first strike qualifying tournament. Tons of bugs, tons of errors coming into the game, and they had to roll it back because, well, just not an environment that pros can play in, especially in the middle of an event. So, despite the fact that Valorant 1.11 was rolled back, it's time for it to come back. And now they're reintroducing the patch, but with a little bit of changes that didn't get on the patch notes. I'm Mike and GoPro, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the patch notes. I read it, so you don't have to. Sky's the new operator who's coming out. She's rolling out with patch 1.11. I don't really need to tell you what she does. I mean, you probably saw everything. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the character changes that actually matter. And that is the massive nerfing on the Sentinels that haven't been really hurt yet through patches, and that's Cypher and Killjoy. Cypher and Killjoy both took some pretty huge hits in terms of their strength and post-death impact in the round. So normally, when you would kill a Cypher, their equipment would still be around, their camera would still exist, their trap wires would still be there, their cages would still be there, and you could still trigger them. But now with this new patch, both Cypher and Killjoy's utility, once they die, is going to be both revealed and disabled. That means trap wires will be revealed, alarm bots will be revealed, nano swarms, turrets, everything will be revealed, and not only will it be shown on your map, it will also disable them. So really, it's going to negate any impact that a Sentinel would have post-death in a match. And that's pretty huge, because Sentinels could always give information even after they died, just by seeing that their trapwire was destroyed, their swarm grenade was destroyed. I mean, you wouldn't really need to destroy a swarm grenade after the Killjoy's dead, but you know, just important. The turret also, not going to detect anybody. Also, big info on this Killjoy. Killjoy is not going to have global map presence anymore. Let's take a look at the notes and dive in specifically what that means. Right here we have all the changes coming to Killjoy's abilities going into 1.11. So let's just read it down and break down each one. So anytime Killjoy leaves her equipment or is more than 40 meters away from her equipment, they automatically disable. That means when you're trying to set up a proper flank defense by putting a turret over by A lobby on split and pushing B, you're not going to be able to detect anyone who's trying to push through sewers. You're no longer going to have that global flank protection, which makes sense, but also really dumbs down Killjoy's potential on the attacking side. So now looking at the turret, the cooldown after pickup is reduced from 20 to 10 seconds. Solid, because if you pick that thing up, you're not going to put it down. Pretty much, if you're trying to rotate onto a different site, 20 seconds is a lot of in-game time. So that turret, with 20-second cooldown, you're probably not going to use it again. And also, with the alarm bot, it's going from a cooldown of 20 seconds to 7 seconds. Huge. Huge, because it's hard to use that aggressively when you're trying to do a site retake. So 7 seconds might be able to get something good going there, but also alarm bots are going to be detected from less further range. That means you got to be closer to be able to see that thing, which if you're going to see it, you're probably walking into it anyway. So nano swarm grenades are actually going to be harder to detect. So the range at which nano swarms can be detected is decreased from 5 meters to 3.5. So you're going to be right on top of that thing by the time you actually see it. Also, there's a bit of an increase in damage, but I don't think it's going to be anything major. Pretty much, if you're going to take a lot of damage to a nano swarm, you're going to die anyway, you know. That 5 extra damage isn't going to make a huge difference. But now let's talk about what wasn't in the patch notes. This is actually some information that they neglected to put in there. You know, I'm not gonna put a blame on anybody. It's some tough times. I don't know, work from home, maybe they're confused. Who cares? So one of the developers of Valorant tweeted this out, kind of clarifying some even additional nerfs coming in for the Sentinels. So, 1.11 patch introduces temporary charges for Killjoy, Cypher, and Sky. Temporary charges will be applied for any abilities that are reusable within the round, whether it's to be recast or repositioned. These charges aren't carried over into the next round. So that means your trap wires, your alarm bots, if you pick them up at the end of the round, you can't bring them into the next round. So there's no longer going to be a need for a mad dash, a mad scramble to pick up all of your trap wires, you know, just pick up everything that you have at the end of the round so you could save a few extra credits. That's not going to be necessary anymore. If you put an alarm bot down, that alarm bot is not coming into the next round with you. Now, that doesn't seem like a massive change, but it's actually going to add up because you're going to be spending extra money every single round. 200 credits for the alarm bot. I believe it's 200 each for a trapwire, so that's going to be starting to take a toll on the other Sentinels. This is all based off the massive nerf that went onto Sage earlier in the year. Now, Sage used to be an insta-lock all the time. Every team was going to have her because the wall was so crucial, but it got nerfed, and so did her heal. So people just stopped playing her. How many games have you seen a Sage with it? I've seen like maybe 1, 2. And the reason being is because they're just stronger Sentinels out there. Cypher and Killjoy are just too important to not have on your team as opposed to Sage, who just really isn't that strong anymore. So what they're trying to do is bring down the strength of the other two Sentinels, trying to make Sage a much more viable pick. Now that they're not as overpowered in comparison, Sage may seem like a favorable option once again. So that's the most important agent changes coming to this patch. Also, Breach's flashes are 2 seconds now instead of 1.75 seconds. So he has a solid 6 seconds combined of flashes, which is just fantastic. Great, awesome, nice. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this patch. So if you like it, hate it, let me know in the comments, or you could check me out on twitch.tv/ICanGoPro. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Come in, say hey, say you hate the nerfs, say you love the nerfs because you thought Killjoy and Cypher were stupid, dumb, and you hated them, or whatever you want to do. Come and say hi. Anyways, that's it for me. See you next time.